As we continue the series in the long anticipation for the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, up next is Wrestlemania IV at Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. WrestleMania IV took place on March 27, 1988 with 19,199 in attendance, making $1.4 million at the gate. It drew a 480,000 pay-per-view buy, but had a much lower buy rate as the audience of those who can access pay-per-view grew to an additional 2.6 million homes since WrestleMania III. WrestleMania IV was the second attempt of a tournament on pay-per-view, the first being the Wrestling Classic in 1985 with 16 first-round participants and non-tournament matches. The WWF, as it was known at the time, held untelevised tournaments in the past such as King of the Ring 1985 and 1986. The only difference this time is the tournament was for the vacant undisputed WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Like previous WrestleManias, celebrities were brought in such as Bob Uecker, Gladys Knight, Leach, Vanna White, and Donald Trump. The big sell that night was a rematch between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, who had a bye for the second round. This began with the twin referee incident at the main event 1988, where the Golden Eagle belt was first introduced, and Andre the Giant pinned Hulk Hogan to end his 4-year-plus title run. Andre handed the title over to the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, who kept the belt for house shows, but was stripped by President Jack Tunney. The real reason for the WWF title being vacated was Hulk Hogan was planning to take time off to film No Holds Barred, while being able to find some time off for the birth of his daughter Brooke. The title was originally planned to go to Ted DiBiase at WrestleMania, but that plan was quickly scrapped. The tournament was followed by 4 matches and the Battle Royal opener. The problem with this event? It was considered by critics and many fans around the world to be too boring and excessive. However, we can't ignore that there were still some memorable moments, and we attempt to fix this pay-per-view event to make it more enjoyable. The Ultimate Warrior and Hercules match would be moved to a dark match to shorten the time. The opening match, Bad News Brown vs. Bret the Hitman Hart in a no DQ, no countout match. Instead of the Battle Royal, we would have the original Battle Royal take place earlier on the March 14th episode of Saturday night's main event, where Bad News double-crosses Bret to win it and Bret destroys his trophy, turning babyface. At WrestleMania, these two would clash in a match with no rules, wrestling stiff and even make use of kendo sticks, a callback to their old Stampede feud from the early 80s. Bad News gets the pinfall over Bret with the Ghetto Blaster. Tournament first round. Ted DiBiase defeats Don Morocco via forfeit. Switching Duggan for Morocco here, DiBiase manages to pay off Morocco at the beginning of the match with resistance from superstar Billy Graham. Morocco forfeits anyway, turning heel after attacking superstar. Jim Duggan defeats Dino Bravo. Ricky Steamboat defeats Greg Valentine. Randy Savage defeats Butch Reed. Bam Bam Bigelow defeats One Man Gang. Jake Roberts defeats Rick Rude. 6-man tag, The Islanders, Haku and Tama, and Cowboy Ron Bass vs. the British Bulldogs and Junkyard Dog. A match stipulation is created where the team who wins gets Matilda. The feud began when the Islanders stole Matilda, the Bulldogs mascot, and we would add in that Heenan makes a claim that the Bulldogs don't have a legal license over Matilda anyway. Although using Coco Beware would make sense since he had a macaw, we would prefer seeing Junkyard Dog team up with the British Bulldogs. Instead of Heenan wrestling, Heenan hires Ron Bass to join his team. Haku gets in a superkick on the Dynamite Kid for the win. In a post-match promo, Heenan says they'll be selling Matilda in a foreign wet market. Tournament quarterfinals. Hulk Hogan defeats Andre the Giant via countout. The third big match between the two since WrestleMania III. Instead of a double DQ finish, we are going to have Hogan beat Andre via countout when Hogan manages to knock down Andre on the outside and is able to jump back in the ring in time for the win. Andre tried to get Hogan disqualified but failed at it. Ted DiBiase defeats Jim Duggan via sleeper hold. Randy Savage defeats Ricky Steamboat. Although it's a risk to book the match between the two with Randy a face, this would have been a dream match for the fans as a WrestleMania III rematch. Steamboat hits a flying body press only for Randy to reverse it on landing for the pinfall. Steamboat holds up Savage's hand out of respect. We don't expect the match to best their WrestleMania III performance, but they do their best. Jake Roberts defeats Bam Bam Bigelow via countout. Another face versus face match, however, Bigelow blows out his knee on the outside, which he was selling since his match with the one-man gang. WWF Intercontinental Championship match, the Honky Tonk Man, C, versus Brutus Beefcake. No need to change the match. Brutus wins by DQ and HTM retains the title. Tournament semifinals. Ted DiBiase defeats Hulk Hogan via DQ. Andre was on the outside during the match, but Hulk, who was tired of Andre interfering, used a chair on Andre, but also knocked down the referee with the chair. Hogan managed to hit the big boot and leg drop on DiBiase for the finish, but the referee disqualifies Hogan when he awakens. Andre and DiBiase celebrate in a post-match promo. Hogan rants backstage how once again the title was stolen from him, but also wishes the best for whoever faces DiBiase next. Randy Savage defeats Jake Roberts via pinfall. Another face versus face match, but it's the longest match in the tournament as they both work well together. Jake goes for the DDT, but Savage gets in a small cradle for the win. Jake congratulates Randy and wishes him the best of luck. WWF Tag Team Championship, Strikeforce, C, versus Demolition. We would keep the match as is, however we would shorten it with Demolition completely dominating the match and winning the tag titles. Tournament finals. Randy Savage defeats Ted DiBiase via pinfall to become the new undisputed WWF World Heavyweight Champion. We keep the finish the same with Hulk and Andre involved, and Randy holding Miss Elizabeth up high with the belt. Alternate tournament ideas. They could have shortened the tournament itself to the top 4 contenders: Savage, Hulk, Andre, and DiBiase. Another possibility is a 30-man battle royal similar to how we saw the title on the line at the 1992 Royal Rumble. Andre and Hulk are eliminated by a large group of talent all at once, and Savage wins in the end. By doing so, we could have focused on building so many feuds prior to the event instead of just throwing different talent into a first-round contest. Stay tuned for WrestleMania 5 and let us know what you think of this alternate card below. Like, subscribe, and thank you for watching in the plot.